Hi, my name is Laura Root, and today I'm going to talk about my research project in reducing special education referrals by providing appropriate Tier 3 intervention. I'm going to focus on three main points today. I'm going to talk about Tier 3 training and special education. The first thing is Tier 3. We actually have to do the Tier 3 intervention. A lot of times in our classroom schedules and daily lives, we get so busy and we just skip little parts of our classroom schedule. And a lot of times the intervention time is one of the things that gets skipped. You know, we want to go outside, we need to read longer, things like that. If we're skipping this, then we're taking away from the very beginning any opportunity they have to regain or learn additional information. The second part we're going to talk about is training. This is really the biggest one. That's why I made the circle bigger. We're going to focus mostly on this today. Training is such a crucial part in our ability to provide intervention. If we don't have the appropriate training and foundation on our ability, then how are we supposed to provide students with what they need? The last thing is actually special education in general. When we don't do these things correctly, it really affects our special education population. We often see that kids are referred because it's just easier. It's easier for the special ed teacher to deal with it than the general education teacher, and that's really a breakdown in our system that we really need to get corrected, and we can do so with appropriate training. That's, once again, why I made the training circle bigger, because training, keyword. So, in August, I collected some data on kindergartners placed on Tier 3. This is by the end of August. These are kindergartners placed on Tier 3 by the end of August. We're going to focus on three main areas. We've got phonetics, number sense, and behavior. You can see that we have 14 students by the end of August, so that's 28 days when we've missed, really about 20 days. Now, our kindergarten is a large kindergarten, so this really is not a large percentage, but it really, in the first 30 days, you know, there are extreme cases, but we really shouldn't have 14 students on Tier 3. That means you've done an effective job doing Tier 1 and Tier 2. Well, these kids haven't had the opportunity to be on Tier 2 often, and you really should be on these things for 6 weeks or more. Now, like I said, there are extreme cases, so we have to keep that in mind. So when I started this research, I aimed to do these things. BCBA training for at least 8 hours. That's a full day of training for teachers. Having the reading coach, reading interventionist involved in providing intervention for kindergarten, especially because we're focusing so much on dyslexia now. 3 weekly data meetings. I wanted to meet with the teachers at least 3 times a day to provide feedback and information they may need. Having the autism and behavior specialist involved, our system does have one. I wanted to utilize this, help them get their classroom set up appropriately for adverse behaviors, things like that. And Friday classroom assistance. I really wanted to go into the classroom with teachers this year and really work with them and work with the students, model working with students and how they can grow in those areas on Fridays. I figured Fridays may be a good idea, just because they're winding down. The day a lot of times a lot of behaviors pop up this day because our schedules are off and things like that. So this is my plan that actually happened. So I had my plan that I was aiming for, and this is what actually happened. They did receive 4 hours of BCBA training. This is training focused on applied behavior analysis. That's the big thing right now with behavior. So we did get a half a day of training for that. Our system did pay for that. Partial reading coach. Our reading coach did take groups of intervention groups for the teachers. But she had a baby this year, so she was out 12 weeks. So that was a large chunk of time that I just couldn't control in my method of data collection. Our autism and behavior specialist, she did follow up with each teacher at least once after our BCBA training. I would have liked more, but this is what her time allotted for. She does see everybody in the county, and she does help all general education teachers in the county already. So this is, although this wasn't as much, it was enough to put up here. Every other week data meetings, I did not get to meet with people 3 times a week. We ended up making it every other week unless there were special occasions where they were having intense adverse behaviors that they wanted me to come see. So this is just how our schedule worked out. I would have loved to have done more, but this is just what we were feasibly able to do. Partial Friday assistance, I did not get to do full Fridays. I used the second half of the day, worked with 2 different teachers every week. Like I said, I would have loved to do more, but this is just what our schedule worked out for. This is referral collection, data collection on referrals for the past 3 years. You can see the increase from 2014-15 to 16-17. We've gone from a end of the year 3 kindergarten referrals to 11. My data does stop at April because I had a baby in April, so there's more unseen, just cracks in my research that just things we really can't help. But you can see that there has been a big increase. A lot of this is behavior, and a lot of this is in the area of dyslexia with this new trend going. Things that resulted by the end of my research training. I wanted to look at the training. Was it efficient? Did they receive the training that I wanted? Yes. Was it as efficient as I wanted? Probably not. I really wanted them to receive more. Behavior, they say, research says behavior takes 6 weeks to shape, and that includes us as teachers as well. We have to shape our behavior in providing appropriate intervention and instruction. So I would have liked for the training to continued on a little bit more. Did we meet our goal of decreasing our special education referrals by 50%? No. We actually increased by 2 this past year, and those really focused in the area of behavior. And I really wanted to look at the results with when these students are referred and they qualify, they do get an IEP. And once they get an IEP, typically they are promoted. We don't often hold back students with IEPs, and I feel like that this is a real struggle in our state right now. Because if we don't have those foundational skills, then we're sending them to the next grade level and just adding on to things they don't know. So I really want to focus on this promotion just because to make our numbers better. I really think we can, 2 years of kindergarten, we can focus on behavior and academics and really make an increase in our appropriate instruction. So there are 3 things that really stood out to me during my research. And the first one we're going to talk about is quality versus quantity. I never really thought about this, but because I have to see students so many minutes, so many days, so many times a year. But research really states that the quality of your intervention is much more important than the quantity of your intervention. So if you've got 5 days a week of intervention and they're not quality intervention, then they're not meaningful. But if you can do intervention twice a week and make it quality, then your students are really going to grow much more than if they received it 5 times. The next area, data collection. So often our teachers are not aware of what meaningful data is. One example I'd like to give is when they say, well, this child just misbehaves. Well, I have students that bite, kick, hit, throw things, chairs, and things like that, and I have students that cry or talk out. Those are really different behaviors. So when you tell me, doesn't behave, I need specific things. And a lot of times we use ABC charts for this, and I usually go through training teaching teachers how to use these ABC charts as well. And the third piece of data that I want to talk about is no pre-service training. Like all of us, we've all received the old Survey 500, Special Ed 500 class. And a lot of times general education teachers have only received this class in the area of disabilities or, discussing students that learn in different ways at different times and at different measures. So this is really a big problem with no pre-service training. Our schools need to really focus on getting a better educational foundation for our general education teachers in this area. What would I change about my research? There are several things that I would change, but the main ones was training. I really want to increase the training. And like I said, follow up for that 6 weeks. Remember, 6 weeks is what it takes to mold a behavior. Follow up, I really wish that I would have followed up better, and I'm planning on doing that this next year. I'm really going to continue this research project because in the long run, it really does affect me. I really want to follow up more often than every other week, and I'm going to really make a point to schedule it in my day to follow up daily with somebody. And lastly, content area. If I had to redo this whole research project, I would probably take the content area down from everything, academics, behavior, things like that, only to behavior. I feel like this is the weakest point in our general education foundation, and they feel this way also. They have the least amount of confidence in providing this kind of intervention in the area of behavior. So these are the different things that I would change, and then you have my reference page. Next, I'm going to go into my next thing. I had the opportunity to do a professional development for our ESY staff, our extended school year staff, and I did a professional development on the financial process, the committee process, and this is something that I did new this year. I joined 2 financial committees, technology and professional development. You can see I've broken down the amount of units my school has, the amount of money that we receive per unit, and the totals. So my school received over $11,000 for technology and over $4,000 for professional development. So how was this money spent? Well, our technology money was spent buying Apple TV, software, and HDMI cards. This is we received a addition to our school this year, 30 new classrooms. All 30 classrooms received these 3 things. Also, we have system updates and printers. Our new addition needed printers, things like that, and then, of course, system updates. How was our professional development money spent? Well, it was actually spent on subs. We determined as a committee that it would benefit to pay for subs during data meetings. So during the school year, when teachers met during their data meetings for half day, whole day, things like that, this professional development money was used to pay for subs. Now, how does this affect us? Why is this important to my ESY staff, which is made up of the special education department of other schools? Well, because 6 units, that's how many units that my school has in the special education department. That's 3 special education teachers, 2 speech teachers, and a gifted teacher. How was this money spent? Over $1,000 for technology, and that equals over $300 in professional development money that is allotted for our 6 units. Now, as you remember, our technology money, the bulk of it was spent on Apple TVs and things for the new addition to the school. No special ed department member moved classrooms to the new addition, so that money really didn't affect us at all. It didn't benefit us. We do have things that we need that this money could have been used for, like smart boards. None of our special ed department has smart boards. We're using the old dry erase boards. And sensory integration. This is a big thing right now. We really could use some updates in sensory integration with our iPads and things like that. So we do have needs in this area. And as always with professional development, more training is always needed. As you can see, more training really could focus on our behavior training, and really that just influences even my whole research project at this point. So to wrap this up, one of the things I really pointed out to this special ed department of all these other schools during ESY was get involved. When they ask you who wants to be on these committees, get involved. Learn where your school is spending money and how they're spending it. Speak up. If you think that you know that you can help make better decisions for how that money is spent, speak up. Let them know what your department needs. Let them know that this money is allotted for your units as well. Get results. If you can't do these 2 things, then you will not get results. And this is get involved, speak up, get results.